a special snow feature for you with a feature comparison, the Seat Leon Cupra and the Seat Leon X-Perience. Both of them are actually top of the line from the Leon model range, but they are of course somewhat different. So we'll explain you the details, which one is the most suitable for you maybe. We'll also discuss it, take a look at the exterior, the different interior and the driving experience here on snow and ice, talk a little bit about the all-wheel drive systems, and I can promise you it will be a very interesting episode with also beautiful landscape here in Austria. So join us in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! Talking about the prices, the Leon X-Perience starts at about 25,000 and goes up to about 40,000 euros. And this one here, the Cupra, starts at 36 and goes up to 45. So if you take it in the highest spec then, also with a lot of extras, difference then is about 5,000 euros. But with the Cupra, for example, you already get those LED headlights in the package. With the X-Perience, you have to go optionally for it. Visually, you see the difference is Sporty on the right side here, or on the left side for you, with the black accentuations, darker style. Here, by the way, the mystery blue color. And the X-Perience has this crossover look with the black plastic fenders on the lower part. And you can see it already from the front, 15 millimeters higher from the suspension. 4 meters 54 or 14 foot 9 is the total length. Here with the Estate, it's about 30 centimeters longer than the hatch version. The X-Perience, you can only get it as an Estate, whereas the Cupra, you can also get it as the hatch. Well, and here again, you can see the crossover look with the plastic fenders right here. Also in the front, of course. Then 17-inch would be from the standard package. Those ones here are the optional 18-inch. And in the general line, you can see, well, again, 50 millimeters higher, together with the crossover look, also with the plastic fender here in the lower side part. Also black window frames. And here this orange color as a contrast, of course, to the blue one we have, so you can better differentiate it. But there's also new orange color available now for the Cupra, if you prefer it in that way. I would like to know from you, which one do you prefer in the side profile? Of course, we'll soon show you the Cupra. And now with the Cupra, we already get 19-inch rims. That's the way they are at the moment, like this. And again, they're included in the package. So it seems to be that already from the outside, the additional price will be evened out just a little bit. And then the lower bumper in vehicle color. Black contrasting mirror caps. Of course, you can also get those performance packages if you want to have it a little bit more screaming out. The roof rail is just the same. In the rear part, we have a small black accentuations for the side bumper, but everything else, well, looks pretty much the same. Well, the car, of course, sits lower. So if you take a base Leon, the X-Perience is 50 millimeters higher, and the Cupra with the sports suspension is lower. So the difference then between the Cupra and the X-Perience is, of course, even bigger then. And from the rear you can see again this crossover look with the bright plastic bumper in the lower part. And overall I think it does suit the vehicle, yes. And well, the car comes a little bit handier if you have some, soft off-road conditions, for example. Or if you maybe a little bit undecided between a normal passenger car and an SUV, and say you want something from both worlds. The same we recently had with the Audi Allroad models, for example, in our reviews. If you're interested in that, you can check out those reviews too. Well, now we reached the rear. Remember that one, because we're jumping to the sporty side. Come to the sporty side of the Force. And now the sporty side is not only defined by the Cupra logo, but a rather dark lower end. Here also with a black diffuser, and the exhaust tips are wider. Of course, they give us a little bit better sound. And Cupra logo right here also more prominent. And you may be seen that cameraman Thomas, so we're double Thomas pack here today again, is playing a little bit with a second camera today. Tell me if you like it in the comments. Welcome to the interior part. First the XPerience, with nice Alcantara on the inside here. And well, this is, let me test with a little bit soft, you know, something between hard and soft, I would say. But this here for the armors, that is definitely soft. Overall good build quality. And you got the XPerience entry logo there. And it also comes with sport seats. Those ones here are the sport seats that would be the base sport seats in the Cupra. And they're pretty similar. Also Alcantara on the inside, leatherette on the outside. Great sustainable mix and also good for your climate comfort and look also quite nice. And here orange is the contrasting color, also at the inside of the steering wheel, and you got the XPerience logo. And now let's get inside, and today the shoe tab is really important. Well, pretty hard snow, but in snow it usually pays off to do a shoe tab. So, it's basically a comfortable seating position, like in many other compact cars, but for a compact car I found it also very suitable for tall people. This one here is equipped with the panoramic roof. That leaves me a little bit of headroom with 1.86 or 6'1". If you want more headroom, leave out the panoramic roof. The steering wheel can be adjusted also in the reach, but also higher and lower. Also a good mechanism. And the interesting thing is here, those ones with the sport seats, since you can also get it for the Cupra as standard. But today, soon, I'll show you, we have the optional performance sport seats with the Cupra. We can tell you something more about the difference, even if you're just interested in the Cupra. So basically, they give you some more side support, also here, you know, in the upper region, also right there. And to me, that's exactly a good compromise. They're a little bit sporty, but still let you move around freely. To me, I would go for those ones here. So either in the XPerience or the base with the Cupra. Soon to show you the comparison. Here, by the way, also with all electric controls for everything you might want to do with the seats. And now the cockpit overview. Basically both the same. Here again, you know, with this part in a horizontal way, and the other one beneath it with the aluminum style look, just a matte way. Here we also have off-road information. Well, actually it comes with a 5-inch screen standard. This one here, the 8-inch one, is an optional. So this is also a difference then with the XPerience, where it lacks standard equipment a little bit. You can also see the steering wheel with orange contrast stitches, analog display right and left. And here we also have the DSG shifting lever. But as I also told you, you can also get this one here with a manual drive, the XPerience, with more engines that are basically available. Interesting here with the off-road information for the, you know, angle of the wheels, also the compass, but you of course have the normal GPS with this app view. GPS works quite fine and also fast. You can zoom and pinch as well. Again, this hotkey here, for example, also for the smartphone connectivity with a cable, but you can also just use Bluetooth. Overall, a system which we are quite satisfied with. You still have a manual volume knob. What you do not have anymore is a knob to zoom in and out. And getting in the rear, also Alcantara at the inside of the doors. We also have manual sunshade for the kids in summer. And well, it's a compact size car, and the Estate rather has more room in the trunk than in the rear, so it's the same as for the hatch. You do fit in here with 4 tall adults. It's not that you would have plenty of leg room. I start to hit the back of the seat here. Headroom wise also, well, with the panoramic roof, I also hit my head then, so you should be a little bit smaller, or when the driver goes a little bit more to the front. Again, if you leave out the panoramic roof, you have a little bit more headroom. On the other hand, it looks pretty fancy and also gives you a lot of light in the interior. You can already flip the seats from here if you like this. Also flat down, there's a top tether on the back part and Isofix on the front to install those child seats, and the same nice design scheme for the rear. And the trunk we'll also check out with the Cupra, because I want to show you now the comparison with the Performance Sports setup. Now the interior of the Cupra, also with Alcantara on the inside of the doors, but the lower part here, this one is additional, well, it's also a fabric, but it has this carbon fiber style. New is that we have the Beats audio system available for the Cupra. Next to that, the Cupra entry caps on the lower part, and then you can discover that in the front of the seat there's something we haven't seen on the other Leon, and this one here is the amplifier of the new sound system. So that one had to have some spot, and well, there's some room right there, then you can put it right there. Then about the seats, well, the standard sport seats, the one you've just seen in the X-Perience, optional for the Cupra. You get those, well, kind of bucket seats. They have the integrated head restraint. They look fancier, look sportier, racing, yeah. Really nicely done, also with the same material mix, the leatherette used on the outside, Alcantara on the inside. However, I found them a little bit less comfortable than the normal base seats from a seating comfort. And Cupra logo on the steering wheel. You see some similarities, contrast stitches in white in contrast to the orange from the X-Perience. So let's get inside. And indeed, those seats give you more side support. By the way, it looks a little bit strange how I get in today, because, you know, the snow trousers here, they are a little bit complicated for seating. Just forget it. So those half bucket seats now, they give you more shoulder support. They're better for the racetrack, that's for sure. But they also limit you a little bit in the movement, so I, for myself, found them in the normal sports seats more comfortable. However, it might depend also on the very body. Here we do not have a panoramic roof, by the way. That leaves more headroom, definitely. We'll also see that soon in the rear. Everything else is basically the same, and I think definitely on the very high standard that is. Also, if you compare the direct competitors from inside the big corporation, you know, Skoda Octavia or also the VW Golf, quality-wise, you do not find so many differences. And as for the rear, well, the main aspect is you have less room if you have the performance seats. And this is really cramped because they are way thicker. And, well, you do somehow fit here as an adult when a tall person sits in front of you, but you have to adjust better. So if you want to have more leg room, do not go for the performance seats. And headroom-wise, Still more than, so there's no problem then if you do not have the panoramic roof. So, and probably some Seat dealers will hate me now because a lot of you guys will not pick the performance seats now. That saves you, I think, whether €1,500 or something like that. Sorry, Seat dealers, but I'll keep to the truth. And, well, the rest of the interior is pretty similar, but we also find those carbon fiber style here in the rear seats then. And here now in the Cupra we have the shiny or glossy black decor cover in the top and the lower part. I'm not so sure. I rather like it when you have matte stylings here in the interior, but that's just, just me. Those ones here are a little bit prone to scratches, I think. But the good thing is with the Cupra, you get the 8-inch screen from standard equipment. By the way, Bluetooth connection and 2-zone air AC is always with both XPerience and the Cupra. So they do have some base equipment, but again, the Cupra is more expensive, but directly comes with a lot of features you probably would pick with the XPerience anyway. And a small test of the Beats audio system. And actually the sound is quite nice and also quite clear. In those very big cars, with the upper mid-size segment, they sound of course a little bit better. But for a compact size car, this sounds quite good. So if you're a musical lover and have this car, I think it's an option worth thinking about. However, I think for a compact size car in the Tiguan, I once had the DIN audio sound system. I like that one a little bit better. And the instruments, well, also they look similar, but here you also have another Cupra logo. In general, I think they are very clear to read and look pretty racy. And soon you can get the all-digital cockpit for almost all Seat models. How that one will look like, we've already given you a preview on the IAA Motor Show. We will also link this video and it looks quite well. Actually similar again as in the VW or in the Audis. And I guess they will start with the, for example, with the Cupra here also, and the Ateca will also get it. So soon you can order it, not yet, but maybe if you watch this video at a later stage, then you'll also be able to do that. Now what about the trunk? You flip the logo and the trunk is both the same in the XPerience and the Cupra. Here easy to press and slides back, so very easy to handle and a clean solution definitely. Then below that you can fit a replacement tire if you want so. This is also from the audio system. And then you can also flip the seats from here. They flip down like this. You do not have to push them as, for example, in the Audi A4. Then you have an even surface. Also ski hatch is possible. So that is very well usable. Flawlessly done, I would say. For the Leon X-Perience you can get different engines. This one here, the top petrol engine, 1.8 liter TSI with 180 horsepower, but you can also get a 1.4 liter TSI, and you can get a 1.6 liter diesel and a 2 liter diesel. Here also in combination with the DSG and all-wheel drive. Then with the Cupra, we got the 2 liter TSI, a little bit more displacement, 300 horsepower, and the combination all-wheel drive, DSG and Estate. This one is, a single combination basically. So you cannot get the all-wheel drive for the hatch. And it's good that we can compare those two cars today, both for each version. The strongest petrol engine, both with auto gearbox. Let's see how this one plays out. Both actually have the same clutch in the middle, because they start with front-wheel drive basically when it's all dry and stuff, and have maximum 50-50 torque distribution front and rear. And the Cupra will actually send a little bit more to the rear wheels, or let's say earlier. So maximum is the same, but this one will adapt earlier, especially in the sports mode. Of course, more power. Let's see how that one plays out then later on the racetrack. Now to our driving part, and I'll start here on this snow and ice track with the Leon X-Perience with normal tires without spikes and normal driving mode and activated ESC. And you see, even if I oversteer a little bit, so if I would make, let's say a mistake, or if I want to force the car somewhere, not so much is happening. You see the car is being caught quite easily again. And this is, the nature of this ESC system. So it wants to keep you safe. Here, if you even put in the steering wheel, you slide just a little bit, but you can catch it again. Not so much is happening. Well, what you can do here, first of all, of course, this one here would be the safest method so far, and also keeps you safe then in winter times. So now with the sport mode, we have a little bit more throttle input. And let's see how this one changes when I want to, well, do something not so much. Well, the throttle input is a little bit more in the sport mode. Here you can see I can put the rear around a little bit more, but that's basically it. So that the ESC is braking me in, that's actually the thing that, see it here, more pushing over the front wheels. That's the thing that's really controlling this car. So, but in the menu here, there's no separate button for that. You can also go to ESC Sport, and the ESC is not off by that. But you can play around a little bit more. Here now the rear comes. It's not the biggest difference, because here with the XPerience they want to keep everyone safe mainly. It's not the sportiest car. Here now see you can put the rear around just a little bit. Also I'm going a little more on the throttle, but I cannot play freely with the car, as the ESC is still somewhat limiting me. Here now it's a nice long drift. You see, I can also drive sideways with it quite easily, but I had to force it just a little bit more. Power-wise, it is already enough, definitely, to turn the rear around, and it's already a lot of fun, because the car in general is a lot of fun to put it sideways. This compact vehicle also has the dimensions that you are, pretty flexible in your ride. So you feel light. You feel very well in control. We have done the Cupra so far, once on ice, and really nice ice track in Finland, and you can really play with this car. It's so well to control. But again, here with the XPerience, you have the limiter from the ESC, even though, that's quite nice playing without, and I'm just about 2,000, 3,000 RPM, and you see how long I could hold this very drift. So, by the way, this rattling is not from the car, it's from all of our equipment stuff. We have to fix that maybe. So, a nice small round here with the XPerience, and of course I want to know the difference now against the Cupra. Now we jump over to the Cupra. We also directly go to the Cupra mode to have a little bit more boost. But also here, it's about the ESC, because I have a better acceleration. But here, if I want to keep it safe, even though we've got some ice here, the ESC is holding me pretty well in the track. So that's also good to know, in situations where you do not want to play around with the vehicle. Here, by the way, we have, of course, more horsepower, way more horsepower, but we also have some spikes mounted in the tires. So just to mention that for the comparison. And here again, pretty safe riding, even if I go on throttle, I'm even brake down a little bit then. And here we can have two different ESC modes. So first of all, pressing it once is ESC Sport. The ESC Sport will give us just a little bit more room to play. Here the rear now comes a little bit. Counter steer again. See how well the car is to control. It's really a lot of fun. The ESC Sport still limits me somehow, but here I'm now already in a region where I can steer the car with the throttle, by the way. I feel it basically also in the throttle that the car is limiting me, ESC wise, but that would be something where you can learn, you know, to drift and stuff, because the car is forgiving you when you're doing well, things that are not that well prepared. The overdrive system itself feels somewhat similar though, so both cars do come close, just feel sound and a little bit more of the power from the Cupra, of course. Then now the ESC off, and that one here in combination with the Cupra all-wheel drive that is sending power to the rear wheels. Now we are able to play around freely. Of course, this is not the fastest way to get around the slalom, but it's the most fun way. And now it also goes with the RPMs. And you can also hear the snow falling outside. Especially if I'm going outside the main line. And this is of course the most fun way. You cannot really compare it with a fully rear-wheel driven car, because the rear would come around even further then. But we've also shown you on the big track in Finland that we can very well control this car and also have a lot of fun with it. Here, see how smooth I can go through the slalom, almost 90 degrees, and still I can catch the car again and turn it around the other way. Or here, for example, keeping the long drift now, when I keep it a little bit more. See, I didn't steer that much. I rather steer the car than with the throttle. And that's of course a lot of fun. And a lot of ice here now, so it gets really rough. And if you want more of that one, be sure to check out our drift video from Finland. That one was amazing. We had a lot more room to play around. Definitely interesting to compare those two cars. Yeah, the power is really different, and of course that you can activate the ESC completely here. Although I'm not quite sure if it's really like 100%, because it feels like you would have something still, you know, just a little notch. And there it is, the X-Perience. I hope you like this test track comparison. And some more panoramic impressions for you here. We're on a BC road, snow track now, slow speed. But it's also good to get to know the car a little bit more and also take a look at the landscape. And you know, especially if you're now in a very narrow surrounding here, you realize it's good to have the electronic stability control, because you know, this snow left and right is actually pretty hard, and you know, when it's really stuffed, it's like concrete, then you really damage your car. There's no room for error then, basically. Now also when standing still, by the way, the car has no problem whatsoever. Some uphill section at the moment, and as we have the all-wheel drive, so smooth. Also the torque distribution, then from front to rear, depending on what's really necessary. Like this car, we can also make it a little bit faster now if we stand still, and then even if we accelerate a little bit harder, we don't have any wheel spin. The car really gets the grip to the ground. So this is the advantage of this adaptive all-wheel drive system. And it is actually said that this saves also fuel in comparison to permanent all-wheel drives, but you know, those turbo petrol engines, the small ones, always consume a lot of fuel, so I'm not really sure about that, if that makes such a difference. And here now, you know, if I would have the ESC off, for example, there would be no greater danger that I'm landing in some of the walls here. So it's good to stay safe. We don't have any spikes on the tires, just good winter tires. But for, you know, a lot of times the very good winter tires will do just fine. Therefore, it's always important to have good ones.
making some kind of, like a family tour with all of the different Leon X-Perience. It's also good that you can see some in front of the camera. By the way, this 1.8 liter petrol engine is definitely sufficient for the car. I mean, it's the strongest petrol engine. You can also live with the smaller one. The bigger one here is of course handy when you have a trailer, for example, driving fully loaded, and if you're driving Autobahn or motorway a lot, so we want to hammer the throttle sometimes for acceleration. Other than that, the smaller engines will also do just fine, especially here for the Leon X-Perience. There are basically no engines available that would be super underpowered. But I think it's a very suitable one for the car. Of course, we've just shown you the difference to the Cupra. We realized this power difference even more on dry terrain. But basically, again, the cars do come close somewhat, because the all-wheel drive system is the same chassis, just some different equipment we've exchanged. So, and I think the main characteristic is really that it's still easy to drive and that you feel very safe, and actually no matter in what conditions you are actually.
And now to our conclusion for today, Seat Leon X-Perience versus Seat Leon Cupra, and of course both with all-wheel drive in the snow. Was surely a lot of fun, and I think we could point out the small differences and of course also the similarities. Considering the price, we really have to say that the Cupra is actually a better price performance deal. You get more horsepower, but also equipment wise you have more stuff already in it. And then the price difference is, pretty relative. So the X-Perience could actually be a little bit cheaper. Or what do you think? Both cars, for sure, are still top of the model line, and both have their own niche. And I would like to know from you, which one do you prefer on exterior, interior, and the driving experience? I think both styles, the sporty one and the crossover style, do fit the car very well. From the inside, we also have a very solid build quality and also good usage of space we have. So overall, it's surely a very good all-rounder, and with all the features we've shown you today, you can already say that it's basically a premium estate, although Seat was not formally known as a premium brand. But especially here in the high trim levels, I think this is the case. A lot of fun, of course, to drive it on the snow, as we can also put the ESC down with the Cupra. More fun, of course. But then again, you have to say, for normal driving situations, you probably won't feel that, because you will rather drive with the ESC on. And the most important thing is that with the stability control, they both gave us a very safe feeling while driving also in those conditions here today. Hope you enjoyed it, and also tune into more of our Leon Cupra reviews, and see you next time.